Hey, I got an idea, let's go to the movies. I wanna go to the movies, I want to take you all to the movies. Let's go and experience the art of the cinema. Let's begin with the scream of fear, and we are going to haunt us for the rest of our lives. And then let's go see The Great Escape, and spend our summer jumping our bikes, just like Steve McQueen over barbed wire. And then let's catch The Seven Samurai for some reason on PBS. And we'll feel like we speak Japanese because we can read the subtitles and hear the language at the same time. And then let's lose sleep the night before we see 2001, A Space Odyssey because we have this idea that it's going to change forever the way we look at films. And then let's go see it 4 times in 1 year. And let's see Woodstock 3 times in 1 year, and let's see Taxi Driver twice in 1 week. And let's see Close Encounters of the Third Kind just so we can freeze there and mid-popcorn. And when the kids are old enough, let's sit them together on the sofa and screen City Lights and Stagecoach in the best years of our lives, and On the Waterfront and Midnight Cowboy and 5 Easy Pieces and The Last Picture Show and Raging Bull and Schindler's List. So that they can understand how the human condition can be captured by this amalgam of light and sound and literature we call the cinema. Sweet tea with milk, 3 Oreos, and Bob Roy's snug and cozy flat helped Sue breathe deeply for the first time in months. She let out a sigh as big as a cresting wave and leaned back into a chair so soft it put the Z in cozy. "Okay," Bob said. "Tell me everything." She opened up about, well, everything, cued by Bob's sympathy. He uttered his support at every story, every anecdote. New York was the only place for Sue to be. Shelley and her "yeah, okay" attitude were to be expected from such a "see you next Tuesday." The subway was survivable as long as you never made eye contact with anyone. You found an apartment by reading the rental classifieds and the Times and the Village Voice, but you had to get them early, at 7 in the morning, and then you had to hightail it to the apartments with a bag of donuts because the super would always open up for a pretty girl who shared her donuts. Casting people look at your picture, then at you to see if it matches. Are you actually a girl? Do you have blonde hair? You sporting a rack of any significance? If you're what they are looking for, they turn over to your resume, scan your credits and your lies, then scribble down this magic word, call back. Bob rolled paper into the old broil, adjusted the margins and tabs, and within minutes had typed out a crisp, clear, and clean resume that made Sue look like she was as experienced a dreamer as ever hopped a bus to the big city. She could boast of 30 roles. The one thing missing from the paper was her name at the top. Sue stepped into a haven that smelled of candles and lemon-scented dish soap, a cabinet of curiosities, one of which was the bathtub smack dab in the middle of the small kitchen. Bob Roy's railroad flat was 4 tight, connected rooms, each stuffed with coombies, knickknacks, doodads, furniture pieces of any style, shelves, books, photos and frames, trophies bought from flea markets, old records, small lamps, and calendars from decades before. "I know," he said. "It looks like I sell magic potions in here, like I'm an animated badger from a Disney cartoon." He lit a burner on the stove with a huge kitchen match, then filled a shiny, oldie English-style kettle with water from the tap. As he prepared cups on a tray he said, "Tea in minutes, Titmouse. Make a home for yourself. As long as you as an individual can convince yourself that in order to move forward as best you can you have to be optimistic, you can be described as one of the faithful, one of those people who can say, well, look, something's going to happen. Let's just keep trying. Let's not give up." It was a million tiny little things that, when you added them all up, they meant we were supposed to be together, and I knew it. I knew it the very first time I touched her. It was like coming home, only to no home I'd ever known. I was just taking her hand to help her out of a car, and I knew. It was like magic. I had to keep breathing. Even though there was no reason to hope. I stayed alive. I kept breathing. And one day my logic was proven all wrong because the tide came in, and gave me a sail. And now, here I am. I'm back. Because now I know what I have to do now. I have to keep breathing. Because tomorrow the sun will rise. Who knows what the tide could bring.
Truth is, I'll never know all there is to know about you, just as you will never know all there is to know about me. Humans are by nature too complicated to be understood fully. So, we can choose either to approach our fellow human beings with suspicion or to approach them with an open mind, a dash of optimism and a great deal of candor. The most accurate representation of how I feel is that I'm incredibly lucky to be working in this structure where people get paid millions to read the news on TV. And, yes, it is insane. And there is nothing I can say beyond acknowledging my immense good fortune and being aware that I'm blessed, and aware that it isn't going to last forever. I've made quite a number of movies like Castaway and a few others where I'm the only guy in the movie and the only place to be is right next to the camera in costume, ready to go in order to get it. The years, and more specifically probably the 4 months prior to beginning shooting, is where the big preparation is that the director does, because I knew we were going to get on the set. And the good news is, if you're the boss, if it ain't good, you don't use it. You just cut it out.
I had to keep breathing. Even though there was no reason to hope. I stayed alive. I kept breathing. And one day my logic was proven all wrong because the tide came in, and gave me a sail. And now, here I am. I'm back. Because now I know what I have to do now. I have to keep breathing. Because tomorrow the sun will rise. Who knows what the tide could bring. Now, learning how to make a movie is something you can figure out in about an afternoon. The physics of it, the marks, the lights, etc. What's hard to do is to suspend your own feelings of self-consciousness. The natural actors can do that, they can become part of a characterization and learn how to maintain it. My doctor said, if you can weigh what you weighed in high school, you'll essentially be healthy and not have type 2 diabetes. Well, I'm gonna have type 2 diabetes, because there is no way I can weigh as much as I did in high school. Motion pictures are just beginning to live up to their true potential of being an immersive experience, going from beyond black and white flickering images to fully immersive 3D color high definition. You don't even know where the real world starts and the fake world begins. And yet, none of that's going to matter unless the story and the emotions that they allow us to become invested in are something that we can recognize. Pixar is able to do this in ways that almost defies speculation. When you're going to try and have people talk in a room and actually reflect life as we know it and have people recognize themselves and their own street and their own house in it, well then you're aiming for the high country and it's a much bigger gamble. You can interview all the marketing gurus and the people in charge of, the people you gotta fight with in order to get your seats here, and they all talk about release dates and counter-programming. At the end of the day, it's gotta be a good movie. Audiences crave something they've never seen before. That's what they want. They want to be dazzled. They want to go in either to have their expectations blown out of the water, or have no expectations and are dazzled by the decisions that we, filmmakers, made. In the 1998 Oscars, I found myself in the bathroom in a stall, next to Tom Selleck. So I leaned over and I said, "Looks like we're a couple of Bean Toms." His angry silence is something I'll never forget. The Pixar people continuously amaze me. They come up with something that actually looks as though it takes place in this happy, real world. Every plot line is not just plausible, but oddly authentic. The stories are full of adventure, humor and love. The characters are written with great human dimension. I don't know how they do it, but they astound me. Which quotes did you like the most? Thank you for watching. Don't forget to comment and subscribe.